Gravity of the Heart. Part 1. The Meeting. The storm had rolled in quickly, its dark clouds cloaking the sky in a matter of minutes. Evelyn leaned over the bar, wiping down the counter as the wind howled outside. The small town of Larkston was known for being quiet, a place where everyone knew everyone's name, and nothing much ever changed. But tonight, something was different. The air felt heavy, charged. A storm was coming, not just outside, but within. The bell above the door jingled, and Evelyn glanced up to see the man enter. He wasn't local. She could tell by the way he carried himself, the quiet confidence in his step, the intense focus in his eyes. His hair was dark, slightly tousled, and his clothes were simple but well-fitted, as if he had just come from somewhere important. He looked around the dimly lit bar, eyes scanning the room, before they landed on her. For a moment, Evelyn thought he might turn and walk out. He looked out of place, like a man who didn't belong in a small-town bar. Instead, he walked toward her. "Just a drink, please," he said, his voice low but steady, as if every word carried weight. "Something strong?" Evelyn asked, arching an eyebrow. He met her gaze with a faint smile, a small, almost imperceptible curve of his lips. "Yeah, I think I need that." She poured a whiskey into a glass and slid it toward him. "I don't think I've seen you around before. You new in town?" He took the glass and brought it to his lips without breaking eye contact. There was something familiar about him, though she couldn't place it. "Just passing through," he replied, his tone almost guarded. "I'm Noah." "Evelyn," she said, wiping down the counter again. "What brings you to Larkston?" Noah hesitated for a moment, as if weighing the truth against the need for privacy. A bit of peace and quiet. Evelyn studied him for a second. There was an aura about him, one that screamed of a man who had seen things, done things, and now sought solace in anonymity. She didn't press him further, but a curiosity lingered. "Fair enough," she said, offering a small smile. "I think you'll find plenty of peace and quiet here, at least when the storm settles." He nodded absently, his gaze flickering to the window. The storm outside had grown fiercer, the wind howling as the rain slammed against the glass. "Looks like it might be a while before that happens," he murmured, turning his attention back to his drink. Evelyn was about to respond when a loud crash of thunder shook the building, and the lights flickered for a second. The storm had intensified, and so had the tension in the air. Evelyn felt it. Something about Noah drew her in, but she couldn't quite understand why. She took a breath and gave him a quiet nod. "So, tell me, Noah, what do you do when you're not looking for peace?" He stiffened slightly, the change in his demeanor almost imperceptible. "I used to be an astronaut." The words hit Evelyn harder than she expected. She blinked, taken aback. "Astronaut?" she repeated, trying to hide her surprise. He nodded, his eyes darkening for just a moment. "Yeah, it's a job that doesn't let you stay grounded for long." Evelyn let out a soft laugh, trying to lighten the conversation. "Sounds lonely." Noah's gaze softened, but there was something distant in his eyes. "It can be, but it's also freeing. In a way, until you come back to Earth and realize nothing feels the same." There was a sadness in his voice that Evelyn couldn't ignore. She wondered what kind of man had seen the wonders of space and still found himself looking for peace in a rundown bar. Before she could ask more, the door to the bar swung open again, letting in a rush of cold air. A few more customers had arrived, interrupting the moment between her and Noah. But she couldn't help feeling like something had shifted in the air between them, something unspoken. I would like to take a moment away from the story. If you like my short stories, please be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas for my next storyline, please be sure to share it in the comments. Now back to the story. Part 2. Building Connection. Over the next few weeks, Noah became a regular at the bar. His visits were sporadic, but when he did come in, he'd always sit at the counter, order a whiskey, and engage in quiet conversation with Evelyn. There was a gentleness to him that intrigued her, something she hadn't expected from an astronaut. He wasn't the type to flaunt his past or bask in the attention of strangers. Instead, he sought refuge in the simple act of sitting in silence, the weight of the world lifted by the steady rhythm of the bar. Evelyn found herself drawn to him more with each passing day. She began to notice the little things, the way his hands trembled slightly when he took a drink, or the way he'd stare off into space when he thought no one was watching. It was as if his mind was always elsewhere, caught between the stars and the earth. One evening, the bar was emptier than usual. The storm from earlier in the week had cleared, leaving behind a crisp, quiet night. Noah was there again, nursing a glass of whiskey as he gazed out the window. Evelyn leaned against the counter, cleaning a glass. "You know," she said softly, "most people would want to go back to space after something like that. Being an astronaut, I mean." Noah looked up at her, his expression unreadable. "Maybe, but the truth is, once you've seen everything from up there, it's hard to find meaning in anything else." She set the glass down and turned to face him. "I don't know. I think there's plenty of meaning down here, even if it's just in the small moments. Like this one." His gaze lingered on her, and for a moment it felt like the world had paused. There was something unspoken between them, a connection, a thread that pulled them closer despite the weight of his past. "I don't think I've ever found peace down here," Noah admitted, his voice soft but intense. "Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place." Evelyn stepped closer, her heart racing. "Maybe you just haven't looked in the right eyes." His gaze softened, and he stood up slowly, closing the distance between them. There was no rush, no urgency, just the quiet tension of two people who had been circling around each other for far too long. He reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face before his hand lingered on her cheek. "Maybe," he whispered. And then, without another word, his lips met hers. The kiss was gentle at first, hesitant, as if both of them were unsure of the emotions stirring inside. But then, slowly, the kiss deepened, as if they were both letting go of the walls they had built around their hearts. The world outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them standing there, together, in the quiet glow of the bar. Part 3. Suspenseful Twist. As the weeks passed, the bond between Evelyn and Noah grew stronger. But the shadow of Noah's past was never far behind. He became more distant, his visits less frequent, and when he did come in, he seemed haunted, troubled by something that he couldn't shake off. One evening, just as the bar was closing, Evelyn noticed Noah sitting at the counter, his head buried in his hands. The usual calm demeanor had been replaced by an obvious tension. "Is everything okay?" she asked, moving closer. He looked up at her, his eyes dark with worry. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, his voice tight. "Something I've been running from." Evelyn's heart skipped a beat. She sat beside him, her hand gently touching his arm. "You can tell me anything." Noah looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "I wasn't just an astronaut. There's a group, people I worked with on a mission. And now, they're after me." The weight of his words hit Evelyn like a freight train. Her heart raced. "What do you mean they're after you?" Noah's jaw clenched. "There are people who want something I took back from the mission. Something dangerous. I thought I could leave it behind, but it's here now. And it's not just me they're after." A chill ran down Evelyn's spine. Before she could respond, the door to the bar swung open violently, and a group of men stepped inside, their eyes scanning the room. They were dressed in dark clothing, and their presence felt like a storm of its own. Noah stood up quickly, pulling Evelyn to her feet. "Get down," he shouted, just as one of the men lunged toward them. Part 4. The resolution. The bar erupted into chaos. Noah pushed Evelyn behind the counter, taking cover with her. The men who had entered weren't here for a drink, they were here for Noah and whatever it was he had brought back from space. "I'm sorry," Noah muttered, his voice pained. "I didn't want to drag you into this." Evelyn, her heart racing, looked at him. "We're in this together, Noah. Whatever it is, we'll face it together." They made a run for it, escaping through the back door of the bar and into the alley behind it. The storm had returned, but this time, the rain felt like a welcome relief against the heat of the moment. They ran, hearts pounding, unsure of what lay ahead. Eventually, they found shelter in an abandoned building, breathing heavily, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. Noah looked at Evelyn, his expression softening. "I don't know what happens next," he said quietly, "but I know one thing, I can't lose you." Evelyn reached for his hand, squeezing it. "You won't. We'll make it through this. Together." As the storm raged outside, they stood side by side, knowing that whatever dangers lay ahead, their love had become the anchor that would keep them grounded. The next morning, after a tense night of waiting and planning, they managed to contact the authorities. Noah's past, once a shadow looming over them, was finally dealt with, the threat neutralized. He had chosen Evelyn over everything else, his past, his mission, his isolation, and together, they began to rebuild. In the days that followed, Noah decided to leave behind the dangerous world of space missions. He found a new purpose beside Evelyn in the quiet moments that mattered more than any starry horizon. And so, beneath the stormy skies, they forged a future together, a love that transcended the gravity of their pasts. Like and subscribe for more short stories.